Are you struggling to sell your online course, your coaching program, or your membership? Maybe you're putting in all the work, but the results just aren't coming in. Today, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be breaking down the 5 biggest mistakes I see in the info business industry and what I would do to do it the right way. So my name is Mike Gallons. I own several companies in the info space. We do about $200,000 a month in profit, and I've learned a lot of things over the last 15 years that I'm gonna be sharing with you. Now, mistake number 1, selling without an audience. Most creators, most experts, they try to build out a course and get this whole thing built out real good before they even have an audience. This is completely backwards. Instead, start with an audience first type of approach. Build out a school, get your email list going, get connection built with the people that actually have the problem that you can solve. Because when you learn and engage and talk to them and get their pain points and dial in everything that they're struggling with, this allows you to build the perfect offer that they literally cannot refuse to take you up on. Now here's a little pro tip for you. Use organic content marketing to build up your audience. Use this engage, inspire, you can educate them. Just think of marketing as education. And what you'd like to do is you'd like to really dial in exactly what's going on with them by providing as much value up front as possible. And only about 20% of your content should be selling. You want to dial in that organic marketing. Most people go out there and they start blasting ads and do all this stuff. It's crazy because the moment you stop doing ads is the moment your business stops. You want this thing to be building on autopilot organically for years and years to come. So really focus on that organic content approach first. Now, if you're trying to turn your expertise into a scalable, online, profitable info business, I have some links down in the description for you. All right, big mistake number 2 is relying on only one traffic source. So as I was in these masterminds and as I was coaching people, I noticed everybody was always doing one major platform, one major thing where it was like all ads or all this or all that. And then the problem was the algorithm would change or their ads would stop working, and then all of a sudden the business stopped working. Now, I do think you need to focus on one platform first and get established and understand that platform. My suggestion, create one solid, good, long-form piece of content, maybe 10 to 30 minutes long, somewhere in there, maybe even longer. I wouldn't worry about how long it is as much as making sure it's a good piece of content that actually solves the problem. But then what I would do is I would take that long-form piece of content and then I would either hand it off to somebody that's really good at the different platforms or maybe build something in-house. But you would take that long-form piece of content and you would take and turn it into pictures and emails, and you could turn it into a bunch of different short little clips and take it and actually distribute it, push it out. You know, in the beginning, in the early days, I would just create a piece of content, throw it out there, and that was about it. You need to distribute it all week. If you took a good solid piece, like you worked on a good piece of content, and then for the rest of the week, you actually worked on distributing it and driving it out there to get people to go back to it and have that long form piece of content actually drive people to your opt-in pages, drive people to the sale. This would be the type of technique or strategy that you really want to focus on. Quality over quantity, but having consistency in the distribution. So as an action tip, think Omni-Channel. So I want to have a core piece of content that's like my pillar piece of the week. This covers a wide range of everything that needs to be covered in a piece of content. Who you are, proof about you, proof about what you're doing, providing value, giving them something that they would almost want to pay for, and then chop that up into all sorts of different pieces, repurpose it to all the other different types of platforms, and you want to make sure that you're making it work for that platform, not just the same thing on every platform. You want to actually make it so that it fits the platform. All right, mistake number 3. They do not have a clear offer. They do not have a clear message. It's jumbled and confusing. You definitely don't want to be living in this area where there's not clarity or there's not a good offer being made. The clients and stuff that I start working with inside of our mastermind, the DG mastermind, you can learn about it in the description. They will come to me and they're like, I can't understand why people are not buying. 99% of the time, it's because the offer is unclear. They're not sure what the actual offer is. You think you understand it in your head, but the audience has no idea what it actually is. It's very plain and simple. If the people out there that have the problem that you can solve with your coaching program, your membership, or your online course, if they don't understand how your product solves that problem or how your information business solves that problem, they are not going to buy. So how do you fix this? Well, your offer needs to pass the so what test. If somebody hears your offer and they're like, yeah, so what? Then it's not clear enough. They can't see what the transformation actually is. You need to get more specific on how the offer actually solves their problem. I'll give you an example. Instead of saying something like, well, I help people grow on YouTube. Instead, say something like this: I help busy entrepreneurs grow their YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers over the next 12 months without having to spend hours doing fancy editing tricks. Again, you want a clear, specific, outcome-driven type offer. They need to truly understand exactly what it is that you're offering. All right, mistake number 4 is they do not have a sales system. This is critical. Now, if you're trying to turn your expertise into a scalable, online, profitable info business, I have some links down in the description for you. Most info business owners that get started, or if they're in that stage where they're just kind of stuck around the 5 to 10 grand or whatever, they don't have a system that really brings things in. They're relying on direct messaging. Things are scattered all over the place. They're just hoping people will find them instead of having a clear system that consistently brings in leads and nurtures those leads using automation and reaching out and talking with them in a correct way that's, again, systematic. So if you weren't in the business, it could still be doing the thing. So here's the fix. You don't need some complicated funnel. You don't need all these crazy apps and all this stuff. You just need a simple few things. Number 1, you need a good lead magnet. This is just a free resource that you're gonna give somebody that they would normally wanna pay for in exchange for their information, their name and their email. Then you simply need a nurture sequence. This is just a simple follow-up email sequence that builds trust. It nurtures them over time. It helps them understand why you can actually help them solve their problem, how to do that. It removes all the questions and objections, and it just leads them directly to where to get the information, where to buy it, how to get started, the whole 9 yards. You remove all the anxieties. And then you just need a simple conversion mechanism. This is either a webinar, a VSL, they can book a call, a free strategy session, they can get on there and they can talk with you. It's exactly what we do. If you go down to the link in the description, you can see where you can book a free strategy call with us. We go over where you're at, where you want to be, what's holding you back. You get a game plan. Whether you buy or not, you leave that call knowing if this is for you or not. And that's kind of the same sort of thing you want to have happening all the time within your content. They should be able to get something for free. They should be able to book a call with you. They should be able to go buy. Those things need to be present in your content. You don't need to hide them. They need to be very front and center. You want to call these things out because you're not trying to get the wrong people to be in your list. You want the people that know up front. You know, like for instance with us, if you're not making money already, if you're not in an info business already and you're not trying to figure out how to scale to 7, maybe even, multiple 7 figures, then I'm not here to really help you. You need to go to more of the beginner stuff. But if you are that person, then perfect. Let's get on a call. Let's flesh it out and let's see what's going on. You want to make sure you know who your person is, where they're at. Again, understanding their problems so you can actually help them. All right, let me give you a simple funnel example. You'd have a checklist where somebody could opt in to grab that checklist. Then after that, they would be dropped into, let's say, a 5-day email course, or they would be dropped into a little mini course where they could figure out what's going on with them, figure out where they're at, where they want to be, and you could actually show them who you are and they could get to know you. And this is the nurture sequence. And then you could simply just have them go book a call with you. You get on a strategy session with them. You talk about where they are, where they want to be, what's blocking them. If they give you the permission, you can share your offer with them and they're either going to want to do it or they won't. And you can have this thing running on autopilot. That's just a simple example of a funnel where you could be charging, a high ticket fee where you're maybe north of $3,000 per person. And this is where I would really start, because on those strategy calls, not only is it simple for you, but number 2 is you learn so much about your audience that your next piece of content literally will speak to their soul. And you don't want to just rely on social media. As we've seen, things can, in a moment's notice, just be gone, right? And you don't want to fall victim to that. So what you want to do is you want to get people from social media onto your email list, into your community, so that you own the list, so that you own that understanding of your people and that you can talk to them whenever you want to. It's almost imperative that you do this. And then mistake number 5 is trying to do everything alone. I made this mistake for way too long. So here's the mistake with ambitious info business owners and entrepreneurs is they want to try to do everything themselves. The content, the ads, the tech, the funnels, the community support, the customer support, the follow-up, all this stuff. And what this does is just simply leads to burnout. It gives them a bad taste in their mouth. A lot of times it makes them quit, and it just makes growth go so much slower. And it's completely unnecessary, especially with what we have today. So how do you fix this? Well, simply put, if I would have started outsourcing sooner, I would have gotten way more done, way faster, at a much higher quality, and I would have been way less stressed. In my first business, I had over 40 clients where I was doing basically agency work for them. I was doing done-for-you marketing for them on their social media. It burned me out. I mean, I had 40 people. I'm collecting the content, I'm editing it, I'm posting it, I'm doing all these things. if I would have got help sooner, it would have transitioned me way different going into this info space. So it's so important that you recognize that there's people out there that can do things better than you. I know you can do it perfect, but you can go out there on Fiverr or Upwork. You can find somebody to do this stuff for you. We were actually in Puerto Rico. We were visiting one of our mentors, and we were in this area where it's just billionaires everywhere. If you haven't exited a company for 100 million, you're not even talking anything out there. You know, it's just crazy, right? We're like on a golf cart just driving past Michael Jordan's house, and it's beautiful, right? And when we get out there, a lot of those billionaires, they were like, if somebody can just do it 70% as good as I can, that's good enough. Because then they can always go from there. But it's actually done and it's gotten completed. Problem is, we try to do everything ourselves, we get in this perfection mode, and then it leads to nothing getting done, and it leads to crappy work. Because you can't be good at all those things, right? You have to figure out where is your zone of genius, and you need to be there. So you have to start outsourcing sooner. Your time needs to be completely focused on content, on delivery, on sales. Those things you need to really tone in on and focus on. Everything else, like video editing, posting on social media, and putting it all together, and customer support and admin work and things like that, these things can all be delegated to somebody that can take care of it and do a much better job than you. Most of the time, the person that's creating the content, the visionary and stuff, they're probably not the best person to be dealing with customer support and admin work, right? You gotta do it in the beginning to get there, but as soon as you can, make sure you're outsourcing that stuff. If I had to suggest the first 2 people that you should go with, just get you a virtual assistant. This is somebody that can just offload a lot of these little menial tasks, and then also get a video editor, somebody that can take your content and they can chop it up and they can put it out there, they can repurpose it and do things like that. Those 2 things are critical. The sales element, if you do a good job, you can really handle this yourself until you can get somebody that can basically clone you, and you can really get somebody to handle those sales. But those 3 areas are the main ones you really want to focus on first. All right, so let's recap the 5 biggest mistakes that info businesses make. These things need to be fixed, right? Number 1, selling without an audience. Number 2, relying only on one traffic source. Number 3, no clear offer and messaging. Number 4, no sales system. And number 5, trying to do everything alone. Now, if you found this valuable, go ahead and hit the like button, share a comment down below, and share with me, what's the biggest challenge that you feel like that you're facing in your info business right now, in this current state where you're watching this? What's the biggest thing that's holding you back? Now, if you want a step-by-step process for free on how to build a profitable online info business, just go ahead and hit up those links down in the description. If you'd like to jump on a strategy call with me, then you can do that as well. But you need to be making money. You need to have an info business running. This is the person I can help the best. Go ahead and grab that down below.